Hi everyone, my name is Rachel and this is my YouTube channel, Give Me Some Sugar, where we will talk extensively about how to live your life to the fullest alongside diabetes. So next Tuesday, the 27th of October 2020 is Osteoporosis Day. I know that is something you're really looking forward to and is all up on your calendar. But I wanted to talk about it because I think it's one of the complications of diabetes that we don't ever touch on. Osteoporosis is a disease in which the bones become less dense and are more likely to fracture. On top of that, once I started working at an endocrinology clinic, I saw how osteoporosis is treated, and it is not something you really want to get into. The medications are extremely expensive, hard to get covered by insurance a lot of the time, and the side effects are not great. So osteoporosis can be prevented for the most part through a lot of lifestyle changes. First, we'll talk about the risk factors for osteoporosis. So some people might be a bit more likely to develop osteoporosis throughout their lifetime. Interestingly enough, people with type 1 diabetes actually may run a higher risk of developing osteoporosis later in life, especially if they have other risk factors. The higher fracture rate happens because we, for whatever reason, just based off of hormones and the imbalances there and the poor blood sugar control, might achieve lower peak bone mass later in life, so around 20 years old, and this puts you at risk for osteoporosis. So having type 1 diabetes and long-term diabetes, so if you were diagnosed earlier with type 2 or gestational diabetes or anything like that, it does put you at higher risk for developing osteoporosis. The other risk factors include things like having small stature, small bones, being really lean, a family history, of course. Postmenopausal women, because there is less estrogen, which acts as a protector from osteoporosis. Nutrient deficiencies, which we'll go more into. Lack of exercise and too much alcohol consumption and soft drink consumption. These are very, very hard on your bones, can weaken them significantly. So it's worth cutting down or avoiding alcohol and soft drinks. So you often cannot control, obviously, your diabetes. You can control good glucose levels and things like that for the most part, but you can't control the fact that you got it, unfortunately, nor can you control your stature or family history. But some of the things you can do to prevent it are, number one, stop smoking. My second tip would be to add in 30 minutes a day of physical activity to the best of your ability. So you want to aim for like weight-bearing exercises, so things that will put some stress on your bones in a good way. So a really good one would be weight training. Even yoga could be considered kind of putting some stress on the bones. Running. So adding a little bit of exercise into your routine really will help a lot, not only with your blood sugars, but to kind of decrease that risk. And then, of course, the food you eat would be very important. There are a lot of vitamins and minerals that are important for bone health. So, of course, the one we always think of is calcium. And I actually do not consume any dairy, and I'm okay on my calcium, y'all. So it is possible to get it through plant foods. So like Things that are really rich in calcium are like leafy greens, of course, broccoli, cabbage, turnip greens, tofu. You can get calcium in all of those sorts of foods. Now, it is definitely advised that you eat a wide variety of those things, for example, because like spinach, calcium is not as available to you unless you cook it. So if you're just eating raw spinach all the time, you may end up having a calcium deficiency. But that's true with anything, so lots of variety. Another important mineral is magnesium, and you can get a good amount of magnesium from tomatoes, artichokes, potatoes. Another one is potassium. Again, potatoes are like the king of potassium. Everybody thinks it's bananas, but sweet potatoes and potatoes have a very high amount of potassium in them. And of course, you know, you could eat some bananas for the potassium. Vitamin C and vitamin K. You'll get all of these vitamins, of course, in those dark leafy greens, but in peppers, in oranges, and a lot of fruits, you can get vitamin C. And cruciferous veggies such as cauliflower and broccoli are very high in vitamin K as well. And then, of course, omega-3s, which I often feel like I struggle to get. If you eat meat, of course, fish like salmon, fatty fish is going to give you omega-3s. If you don't eat meat, or if you want to add some more plant omega-3 sources, nuts and seeds are your best friends, so flax seeds and then walnuts especially. And then some other ways to see where you are in terms of possibly developing weaker bones or osteoporosis. Definitely talk with your doctor about checking your calcium levels and your vitamin D levels. And your vitamin D is actually very important because it helps you to absorb calcium. So if you're not getting a lot of vitamin D, and you're eating a ton of calcium, it doesn't really help. So vitamin D comes from the sun. I know currently during the pandemic, we just aren't getting a lot of sun. If you are able to go out for 10 to 15 minutes at a time and soak up the sun, that really helps. But if that's not an option for you, a lot of fortified foods will contain like a vitamin D supplement. So cereals and milks and sometimes bread actually have vitamin D and calcium supplemented into it. And of course, ask your doctor if a vitamin D and maybe an omega-3 supplement might be helpful for you. I do supplement with vitamin D because I'm a vampire and I just don't want to go out in the sun. Now, I know there were like a ton of foods that I listed off, so I actually went ahead and put together some recipes and a meal plan that will help promote bone health. So you can get that by following the link below or going to my website at www.givemesomesugar.coach/bonehealth, and just click on the link there and you'll be able to download a nice meal plan with a bunch of delicious bone health promoting food. The theme here: eat well, exercise, and hopefully it'll kind of help you out a little bit. I will see you in the next video.